Guys here to start us off, and I think a lot of things we could do depending on where we place our emphasis. And I think the one that we choose to lead off with, the young man all the way to my far right, I think this is the one that moves around the ring with a lot of freedom and ease, and certainly a really good-looking one that's extended and just freaky fronted. Maybe one we could offer just a little bit more hip shape to if we was going to be critical of that one there. But I think a very good place to start. Young man did a really good job. The mostly white goat here that comes in second. If you wanted to use one with a little bit more muscle, certainly a good one there. Really stout in terms of feature. I think this one's not quite as smooth right there above the blades, not quite as neat and or as unique up through that front, but a really neat one there to wind up in second. Young lady winds up in third with just a powerhouse kind of goat. I tell you, this one it outmasses anything else in this particular class. I think if we were going to lock in the muscle and roll, certainly you could do that here. I think this one's just a little plainer in terms of that body shape, a little shorter there flank to flank. Certainly a high-quality animal to wind up in three. One that's just not quite as smooth winds up here in four. Another really massive and thick and stout goat that the young man brings us. I'd like to elevate this one a bit in terms of the point of the shoulder, just make that a little more attractive out of that front end. The rawest in terms of condition is the one that winds out our class. I think this is a really good looking one. We just got to have a little more muscle and a little more condition on this one to move up. Certainly a really good class, and all these kiddos did a great job. Applaud them again if you would. Thank you.
Spectators around the gate, please have a seat in the stands. Could
Rivera Piña, Leopatra Fuller, Julie Garza, Chance Burnett, Caven Horn.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Second place, Jackie Cruz. Third place, Quinaya Tubbs. Fourth place, Jomer Osorio. Fifth place, Maricruz Suarez.
Okay, everyone, welcome to the 64th Aldine ISD Livestock Show. We are currently having our goat show at the moment. Okay, back again, 64th Aldine ISD Livestock Show. We are here with our GO classes. We currently have 3 classes. And Mike Gann is a former ag teacher from Meridian, Texas. He's a graduate of Tarleton State University. He was on the livestock judging team there. His wife is also a teacher at Jonesboro. He retired this year after about 30 years of teaching. Let's go ahead and give Mr. Gann a round of applause for coming to the 64th Aldine ISD Livestock Show. Welcome to the 64th Aldine ISD Livestock Show. We are here. Yeah. Can y'all hear me? Well, let's see. Hopefully you guys can hear me here. This is my 6th time trying this. Welcome back. We are here in our GOAT class. We're in our 2nd class. And in this GOAT class, we have a weight range 79 to 88 pounds. We are also here with our judge today, Mr. Mike Gann. He is a former ag teacher from Meridian, Texas. He graduated from Tarleton State University, where he was on the livestock judging team. He and his wife are ag teachers. She teaches in Jonesboro. He retired this past school year after 30 years of teaching. Welcome, Mr. Gann, to the Aldine Livestock Show.
Get into our 2nd class of goats. And again, I think these kiddos did an excellent job in getting these things presented. And you go to picking them apart. I tell you, this one, a lot more give and take possibly even than our 1st class at any given time. But I think as longer we study them, just in terms of one being put together, being correct in terms of condition and have some exotic look and just kind of stand together and meeting your eye and your hand extremely well. Young lady all the way to the right is going to lead us off in this class with a really nice one there. Congratulations to her. We get into a 2nd place animal that I think maybe meets your hand just a little better in terms of that muscularity right behind those shoulder blades. One that's not quite as smooth in transition out of that chest plate, maybe not quite as neat in terms of that turn to that forerib and that center body cavity, but a really thick, really stout, wide-based one the young man brings us here to wind up in 2nd. That's a really neat one there as well. We get into one that's big and massive and bold down his top side. here that winds up in 3. Maybe this is the one that doesn't balance up quite as well when you get off to the side, kind of wants to fight down a little bit through that front end. But man, you talk about one that's bold and powerful. You could certainly lock into that one. Really good one to wind up here in 3rd. Congratulations to that young man as well. And then we get into one here in 4th that you really like to turn to that 4 rib and how it transitions out of that chest plate into a really neat front end. But this one just doesn't meet our hand quite as good right behind the blades, doesn't meet our hand quite as good right at the hip loin. Really cool, exotic look. We just got to have a little bit more muscle. We could certainly run that one up a place or two. Young man there in 4 did a really good job today. Congratulate him if you will. When we get this one that winds out our class parked and planted, this one has a really neat look from the side. I love the elevation at the point of the shoulder, the extension and the cleanliness up front. When we ask this one to go, it doesn't want to stay together quite as well down its top line. I'd offer this one a shot more muscle there from stifle to stifle when we get behind. But again, this young person here did an excellent job. The whole class, congratulate all of them if you will.
In that class, we had thank you. First place, Julie Garza. Second place, Jose Rivera Panga. Third place, Chance Burnett. Fourth place, Kayvon Horn. And in 5th place, Leopatra Fuller. Our class sponsor is Heat and Speed. Heat and Speed, thank you for your continued support. They always come every year. Sometimes they do add-ons, and they definitely employ our students. So we thank you for being a continued sponsor of the Aldine ISD Livestock Show.
really good class of heavyweights, and I think as much give and take from top to bottom in this class as we've seen today. And certainly, at any given time, we could flip some pairs throughout here. I think the thing that was easiest out of this bunch was to find this class winner. I think whenever you analyze this one, just in terms of having a showy look and being extended up through that front, being wide base, being stout enough, having a good turn to the rib, really good touch whenever you get your hands on this one. Maybe a little rounder out the top side of that hip than ideal, but a really nice one to land on here to lead off our class. Congratulations to this young person right there. Then we get into a pair here in second and third that I think was kind of a close call, I think, because these are similar made just in terms of being super stout and burly there at the ground. These things are wide based, little different package, and both of these that in comparison to the class winner, really shapely down their tops. And ultimately, we just end up getting into one that's a little longer from flank to flank and a little leveler out of that hip. Young lady right here brings us a good one to wind up second in a tough class. Again, the one in third is plenty good. We ultimately just have to end up studying that hip design just a little bit. Maybe one that's just a little softer to the touch, but really stout, really well presented one to wind up in third. Congratulations to that young lady. Young man brings us one very similar to our second and thirds to wind up here in fourth. When we analyze this one in comparison to those, we're a little softer and plainer to our touch right behind those blades. Whenever we get a chance, we kind of want to shrug down and break ever so slightly right there. But another really stout one, really good bodied one, a nice one there that was well presented. Congratulate that young man there in fourth, if you will. Winds up here in five is similar story. I think this one just needs to be stoutened up a little bit down that top line. I love the extension. I love how the shoulder lays into the side of that cage. Really clean out of that chest plate. We just have to be stoutened up and firmed up a little bit to the touch right there for me to move up. But another very nice one to wind up in five. We get into one here in six. Did an excellent job of getting this one presented. This is the one that maybe just a little plainer to the touch. I'd like to give that one a little more or a little more gas in terms of that muscularity in combination with that look that one offers when you get off to the side. Did a really good job of getting that one shown to me as well. We'll get into here to seven. This is the one that wants to kind of come up in that loin and kind of shrug down behind those blades. We just got to smooth that one up a little bit. Love the rib design and the extension up front that one offers. Really stout one here to wind up our class. And I tell you, this one just gets a little flatter and plainer in terms of that hip. I'd like to offer this one maybe a bit more exercise just to give it a little more flair there from stifle to stifle. Stouting that one up down his top side there is good as well. Really good class, a lot of fun to sort, several things we could do. Congratulations to these kiddos.
No, we got to do champion. Yeah, just call the places first and second.
Class 3 winners, first place, Reagan Beth Nealon. Second place, Rachel Mendez. Third place, Caitlin Dunbar. Fourth place, Melissa Williams. Fifth place, Eileen Newsom. Sixth place, Joshua Williams. Seventh place, Houston Parsons. Eighth place, Alexander Ramirez.
You said it what? Yes. How's she not cold?
Yeah.
good goat show. We bring these first and seconds back out of their respective classes, and I think you take them for what they are at their stage at that stage of the game, and in terms of maturity and muscularity and condition. And I think that all three weight divisions are represented extremely well. And I think these kiddos did a really good job of presenting these things to me here today. Whenever you just talk about those that are stout at the ground and wide based and get around the ring with some freedom and ease, meet your eye extremely well in terms of look and ring appeal and eye appeal, combined with whenever you get your hands on them and transitionally get wider from right there where that neck ties into that spine on behind the shoulder, transitionally get wider from there back out the top sides of those hips. And I think the ones that we have out here do those things extremely good. We just got to find a champion in reserve. If you'll give all these kiddos and the ones that were in the goat show a round of applause, I'll show you the two I like best.
Any exhibitor, goat exhibitor who did not make grand or reserve can come back with their goat for goat showmanship at this time. Any exhibitor who did not make grand or reserve can come back with their goat for goat showmanship at this time. Move quickly. So we are having our goat showmanship at this moment. We're doing things a little like Aldine way. We are having the goat off. So we are seeing who is the best, and he's going to start dismissing exhibitors, and then he's going to have who he thinks is best in the ring. Then he will check. He will make a placement of his grand and reserve champion goat showmanship winner. Showmanship not only begins in the ring, it begins the day that the animals come. So we're so excited for these student exhibitors and see what is happening here.
Large group of really good showmen in here for consideration of champion and reserve. And I tell you, lots of good things are going on in here. Just keep in mind simple things, just being smooth and easy as we move around the ring, looking comfortable on the front end of that animal, making sure those legs are set on the corners of that animal, not being too far forward or too far back, and then making sure when the judge comes in to get that handle, we're getting a good crisp touch. And I think that at any given time, several of these have checked off a lot of those boxes. I think there's probably 5 or 6 that maybe do things a little bit better than the rest, and that makes it a little tougher. And then you think you got it figured out and you see something maybe just a little bit different. But there's one that just looks dead solid on the end of one and made very few mistakes. Maybe a little nerve burst or two there whenever I looked, whenever they weren't quite ready. And that's okay, because you just keep working and get that thing presented and get that touch that we're after. It doesn't get any easier there for reserve, because as I said, there was 4 or 5, maybe 6 that were in contention at any given time, and you just kind of go to some little things here and there. But if you'll give this whole group a really big round of applause for a job well done, I'll show you the 2 I like best.
Okay, that concludes our goat show. We're going to jump into our lamb show. Before we do that, for our goats from a championship drive, in first place was Reagan Van Halen. Second place was Jeremiah Stewart. Third place was Julie Garza. Fourth place was Jose Rivera Pena. Fifth place was Jackie Cruz. Sixth place was Maite Mendez. Seventh place was Kanaya Tubbs. We have 7 sale spots for goats and lambs. We are now moving on to our lamb show. Stay tuned. All right, we're here with our lamb. We have a runaway lamb. It's so cute. Look at it. That lamb do look good though. I'll be right back.
Really good class here to get us started on the lamb show. And I'll tell you, the one that comes to the surface is just the one that's extremely good in terms of balance and eye appeal when you get off to the side. Holds itself together in terms of lines and correctness of those lines. Dead level down the top. I think this is the one that meets your hand extremely well, just in terms of being a fresh and square right there over those blades and transitioning wider as we go from there back out of that loin and that hip. This is the one that sets those legs down square on the corners, whether we're propped up or on the move. Maybe we could offer just a little bit of elevation right there at the point of that shoulder, but that's a pretty neat one there to lead us off. Not to take away from the next pair of lambs. I think the next pair is extremely comparable in lots of ways. The one that winds up here in second's one that maybe just wants to taper a little bit over that loin edge. Maybe we could have fed just a little bit more flank into that one. But this is another stout, wide-made one that's clean and good in terms of lines. Meets your hand extremely good. Really good looking one. I like the body design. I like the extension. I like the cleanliness of the one that winds up here in third. Another one that's dead level and square and maybe even bigger from stifle to stifle in comparison there to our second place lamb. This is the one that's a little softer to the touch, a little plainer there in terms of how we connect there at that hip loin. But man, that's a really good looking one to wind up in third. Similar story to the one here in fourth. I love the neck extension, how the shoulder lays into this one. We're really clean in terms of how we transition out of our chest plate. Maybe not quite as bold in terms of that squareness and that handle right there behind those blades. Maybe not quite as strong right there in that hip loin, but another really good bodied, wide-based one there that winds up here in four. The pair that round out our class, they're the ones that just don't balance up quite as well when we get off to the side. These are a little deeper through their chest than they are through their flank. I'd like to fed some into that flank, maybe offered just a little bit more look there. I think that the young man that winds up here in five is the one that's stouter and in terms of bone work, the one that does carry a little more condition and flesh down that top side, big square rack. Just like to see a little more of him as we go back. I think if we could put some more time and some more condition and meat on this one that winds out our class, in addition to filling that flank in to take offer a bit more look when we get off to the side, certainly that's a good one that could move up in this particular class. Really good class. Kiddos did a great job. Congratulate them all, if you will. did. I appreciate it. Second class of lambs, and again a class that I think if you talked them right and studied them at the right time while they were in here, I think you could flip and flop these three several different times, and I think you'd be convinced at the end that you'd done the right thing, because I think they're all high quality lambs and have some parts and pieces that we're certainly after. And I'm going to leave them like they came in. I think the young lady here furthest to my right just has the one that kind of ties it together maybe just a little bit better for me. I think that one stays a little leveler down that top side, maybe offers a little bit more freshness and firmness in terms of that touch. I like this one, how he comes together, or she comes together there with the neck on the top side of that skeleton. Maybe we could shallow this one up just a little bit in terms of that chest floor to offer a little more balance there from the side. Maybe we could be just a little smoother over that hip loin. I think that's the logical one for me to start with. The one here in two, I think, does have a bigger back in terms of just having a little more muscularity down the top side. But this is the one that I think wants to carry itself just a little bit different, maybe a little softer to the touch in terms of just how that one handles. I'd like to smooth that one up just a little bit in terms of how he ties together through his front end, but certainly a powerful one there with a lot of muscularity. One that rounds out our class, I tell you, you just want to lock into square muscle and go. I think maybe this is the one, because this one's big down its top and square made down its top. Gets just a little smoother and flatter in terms of how that rump ties together, and in terms from stifle to stifle, super stout and burly there at the ground. A lot of good quality in that one there to wind out our class. That's how we see them today. Congratulate all three of these kiddos on a job well done. really good class here to wind out our lamb show classes. And again, I think certainly some differences here in the type and kind and where we're at in terms of our muscularity and our condition. And whenever you talk about one that runs uphill and is good to the touch and correct over those ribs and keeps those lines together when we're propped up. Love that elevation. Maybe we could clean this guy up just a little bit in terms of his chest floor. Maybe we give him a shot more muscle there from stifle to stifle, but he's square made from end to end. Young man's lamb's a great place to start. Congratulations to him. Then whenever we talk about the rest of these from 2, 3, and 4, honestly, these I flipped and flopped every which way because there's so much difference in terms of type and kind. And I think all 3 of these kiddos did a really good job of getting them presented to me and bringing out their best parts. I think at the end, when you talk about one that runs uphill and really extended and really round in terms of body, maybe not quite right, just right there at that hip loin. At times we want to handle just a little bit soft, but another one that's got some muscle, got some look, that's wide based, opened up through that center body. Young lady's lamb right here was a logical second for me at the end of this day. And then we get into one. It's a good deal different just in terms of how it looks, but certainly one that's stout. We talk about one that's big in terms of that footwork, one that handles with some muscularity from end to end. This one's just a little softer in terms of that condition at this stage of the game. This one's not quite as neat in terms of that front end. Lots of power, lots of muscularity. Hey, again, I flipped and flopped, but this ewe lamb right here is going to be third. Really nice one there. To wind up third in a competitive class. Young lady that's going to round out our class here, I'll tell you that just in terms of big, square, muscular back and good handle down the top, that takes that one a lot in terms of consideration of moving up. But when we get off and look, that one doesn't balance up quite as well. I'd like to feed a little more feel, a little more flank into that one just to smooth it up in terms of transitions and lines. Maybe offer that one just a shot more hip shape as well. But a really good one there to wind up fourth in this highly competitive class. Congratulate these kiddos, if you will.
Thank you, Dan. Our class winners are in first place, Aaron Hernandez. Second place, Abigail Flores. Third place, Reagan Van Halen. And in fourth place, Megan Mayfield. We will now have our champion drive. Can we have all the first place winners come back in?
really good lamb show, and I think all the kids did a really good job getting them presented here today, and bring these first and seconds back in terms of our champion and reserve consideration. And man, there's a lot of quality out here and several different things we could do. And again, I think we could be convinced that we had done the right thing there, just in terms of these things having some muscle and having some look, and running uphill on profile and keeping those lines together. But again, it's been a pleasure to work through these lambs with all these young people. We've got a champion in reserve to pick. If you'll give all the lamb exhibitors in and out of the ring here a big round of applause, I'll show you the two I like best.
Third place from class 1 and third place from class 3. Can you enter the ring? Class 1 and class 3, third place.
Hello, welcome back to the 64th Aldine ISD Livestock Show. Hopefully, we're go. Here we are. We have completed our goat and our lamb show almost. Lamb show not all the way done, but here with the lambs, we have now we have our winners for the lamb show. What you are viewing is lamb showmanship. And lamb showmanship is very unique because there is no apparatus, there's no pig whip, there's no halter or anything. The lamb showman must use their hand. This fellow right here with his hand behind his back, that's it right there. I like to see it. Our lamb winners were first place, Aaron Hernandez, second place, Tanya Gonzalez, third place, Ariel Rodriguez, in fourth place, Kaya Hall. Fifth place was Abigail Flores. Sixth place was Kirsten Johnson. And in seventh place, Alexandra Huerta. Okay. Thank you for joining us. We hope that you have enjoyed the broadcasting so far. We're going to have, I can't look, we're going to have our livestock auction tomorrow. That starts promptly at 1 time, and we will be live broadcasting that also. You can also bid from your home or your office through our program called ShowWorks. You call in, you get registered, and we will let you bid from your house. Here's some fun facts about sheep. Sheep. Sheep are pretty cool because they normally have two babies known as lambs. Okay. The sheep overall is what the family name is called. And then they have various names depending upon how old they are or what their purpose is. A male sheep is called a ram. Okay. And a female sheep is called a ewe. EWEU. Okay. Now, females have 1 to 3 lambs per litter. And so that's pretty common. They have more than one. They are pregnant for 151 days. Pretty unique that lambs know their mom by the smell of her milk. That is pretty awesome. That's like putting magic glitter in each mommy that her baby knows her. They produce about 8 pounds of wool per year. I thought it was pretty dope that this year in my class, when we were getting ready for show, the kids in the class got to actually shear a lamb and see what that process was like. The feet of a lamb are very unique. So we always take extra care of them. We give them a hoof trimming. Okay. We're going to now announce our results of lamb showmanship. Excuse me.
6 really good lamb showmen come back in here for showmanship, and I tell you, they all do an awesome job, and lots of ways just in getting these things presented and getting a good handle. I think there's a pair out here that sorted themselves just in terms of their positioning on the front of that animal when we're getting them to brace, and actually giving them a little more of that inner thigh to brace against or to push against, and maybe just a little better and a little smoother in terms of that front presentation whenever I asked for that front view a minute ago. But then whenever we sort those two, I think there was one that maybe the lamb just naturally put all 4 of those feet and legs more correctly in position. One thing that I didn't really see anybody do is reach down and fix those legs by hand, because that's perfectly acceptable. Just, make sure you got control of the animal and then reach down and get them in the right position and then get back into them. And I think that would have changed these things just a little bit. But again, an awesome set of exhibitors. Again, I guess this is the last time I'm on the microphone. I appreciate the opportunity to come back down here and work with all these young people. I tell you, they did an awesome job, and it was neat to see their projects here in the ring and all their hard work throughout the entire school year here. So again, it's been my pleasure. I commend each and every one of these kiddos, and I wish them well down the road. Give all these showmen a big round of applause, and I'll show you the 2 I like best.
Our lamb showmanship was sponsored by the Martin family, Miss Brooke Martin and her family. Thank you for that. I've really enjoyed this judge today. He's giving each kid tidbits and pointers on how to show their lamb and how to show their goat. And we appreciate Mr. Gann for coming and supporting us today. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you for joining the 64th Aldine ISD Livestock Show. We will see you tomorrow at our Sale of Champions that starts promptly at 1 p.m. Have a good day.